Okay, can you please confirm if my screen is visible? Okay, we are good to start. Okay, then we are good to start. So let me summarize the previous class. Okay, we were discussing about Java constructors. In our last class, we have seen some problem statements. So we were discussing about the default constructor. Okay, so default constructor says when the programmer is not placing any constructor. This is the example of default constructor. Okay, if the programmer is not placing any constructor, the class is empty. The class has no constructor, then compiler will come into picture. It will place a default constructor. Okay, when you take a class and if the class has no constructors, or if the class is created in such a way that the constructors are not placed, okay, the compiler will come into picture and it is going to place a constructor. Okay, so let me take the same example. So this is our plain screen. For every class, for any class, if the programmer is not placing any constructor on compilation, while performing the compilation, the compiler will come into picture and it is going to place a constructor. That constructor is called as a default constructor. Constructor will be placed. Along with the constructor, a super keyword will also be placed by the compiler. Okay. This is the super class constructor called super class constructor code. Yeah, this is the developer's code. Okay, so this is the compiler's code. Very simple, no? Okay, so yeah, that's what it says. The programmer has forgotten to place any constructor inside the Java class. The compiler will place a constructor along with the super keyword. Okay. We usually call it as the super class code, and the access modifier would be same as the access modifier of the given class. Okay, this line states that this line in blue states that we did not place any access modifier here. So the access modifier of the constructor would be similar to the access modifier of the class. So compiler is going to place an access modifier which the class will be treated as default. Okay, so when the class is treated as default, the constructor would also be treated as default. That is what it says. Default class. So the constructor access modifier would be same as the class access modifier. So the constructor access modifier would also be similar to the class access modifier. In our case, it is going to be default. Okay. So this is the recap, and so the default constructor are always no parameterizer. What does it mean exactly? If you look into the parameters inside the constructor, if you look into the parameters, it is always going to be empty. Okay, the next line says the first instruction or the first line or the first statement of a Java constructor should always be either super class constructor call or this class constructor call. Okay, that's all about this, and we will see few more problems today before jumping into copy constructors, one of the prominent topics in Java. Okay, so let us study few more cases today. Okay, now you need to answer me. Can you come across this kind of questions in the interview? Okay, first case one. Case one. Okay, let us say that I have a class A, and inside this class, so the since I am a programmer, I am placing a constructor. Okay, constructor, and inside this constructor I am keeping a System.out.println statement, and this is going to display con in the console. Okay, after this I am placing a keyword super call constructor, super keyword with constructor call. Okay, now you have to tell me, okay, by analyzing this code you have to tell me whether this code is a valid code or invalid code. Whether this code is a valid or invalid, you need to tell me. If I run this code, will there be any compilation error? Forget about the execution, just look till the compilation. Okay, if I run this code, if I compile this code, sorry, if I compile this code, will I get any compilation error or no compilation error? Will I get compilation error or no compilation error? What do we get? Answer me. This is the case one, case study one. Make it quick. Invalid, 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 invalid. Okay, let us see. So invalid, if you mean to say invalid, you should say it is a compilation error. You are good. The answers are good. Let us try to understand what answer we are getting. Okay, this is the same question. System.out.println. Okay, let me recreate the same question. Super. Okay, I have saved this program. Let me open my command prompt. Command prompt. D drive, cd space, Java 3. Java C space a.java. Okay. See, we are getting a compilation error. See the error. Call to super must be first statement inside the constructor. Okay. Call to super must be first statement. I have already said you in the Friday's class. If I'm not wrong, I have already informed in the private class. Especially focus on this line. The first instruction or the first line or the first statement of a Java constructor should always be a super call or this call. Okay. By looking at this theory, don't you think that there is a violation here in our class? What is that violation? The super keyword or the super call is being found in the second line. It always be in the first line, right? The first line is occupied by the system.out.println statement. It should not be the case. Whenever there is a super call, this super call should be placed in such a way that it should always be occupying the first line of a constructor. So why we are getting error? This is placed in the second line. That's why there is a violation. Call to the super must be first statement inside the constructor. Making sense, everyone? This is the case one. Got it, Sweta? Darshini? Jyotiyan? Good. So let me copy this and paste it for our notes. Case one. Okay, now case two. Focus here. So case 2 says, case 2, okay, the question could look like this. Case 2, okay, I have a class A. Okay, inside this class, let me add, someone has just joined. Okay. Guys, you can also add someone in, okay? You can also let someone in. Class A, inside this class A, I am placing a constructor. Okay, this is the constructor that is being placed by the programmer. Now I am placing it. Okay, inside this constructor, the first, what we call it as the first line of the constructor is going to be this constructor call, this call. Okay, after this, I am placing super call. This call is there, super call is there. Then I am taking a system.out.println statement. Okay, on. Okay, now you tell me, if I compile this code, will I get any compilation error or I don't get any compilation error? Do I get compile time error or not? Case 2. This is second case study. Answer me quickly, make it fast. Compile time error. What about others? Okay, everyone are saying it's compile time error. Okay, why compile time error? Any idea? Okay, we get compile time error because this is also a kind of violation. What is the violation that we are observing here? What is the violation that is being observed here? There are two calls, this call and the super call. At any point of time in a constructor, you can either use this or super. You cannot use both. And at the same time, and if you are using either one of these, it should always occupy the first line of the constructor. First line. Making sense? So let us try to find the error. Okay. A constructor. Same example I am trying to reproduce this call and the super call. Okay, this is the case study 2. I am saving this code. Let us perform the compilation. Okay, Java C space a.java. Okay, call to super must be first step. Okay, let me save this. Should do it here. Okay. This call, super call, System.out.println. Let me remove this. Program has been saved successfully. Java C space a.java. Okay. Call to super must be first statement in the constructor. Okay, this is the first error, and the second error is recursive constructor invocation. Okay, just try to get used to this terminology, recursive constructor invocation. Okay, we are going to see this in after 2 cases. Okay, this is the error that we are getting. What does it really mean? If you use this, and again it is going to, the control is going to see the super call as well. Okay, as soon as it encounters super call, it is going to say like the super call should always be placed in the first line of the constructor. Okay, if you do the vice versa, instead of this, if you place super in the first line, okay, you're going to get the same error. It says call to this must be the first statement. So it is a bottleneck situation. Okay, you can use either super or this. You cannot use both. Okay, this is the case 2. This one. Okay, let me include in the notes. Case 2. Okay, the error that we got is what? Let me fetch the exact error for this. Java C space a.java. Okay, this is the exact error. This is the error. Okay. I'm going to explain you about this recursive call. No worries. This is the case 2. Okay, next the third case. So you can also get a question like this. Case 3. The case 3 case go like, I have a class A. Inside this class, I have I have a method. The method is defined like this: public void. Okay, m1. Class A, inside this I have a method, and inside this method I am making a super call. Okay, after this System.out.println. Okay, a simple println statement which is called as method 1. Okay, if I compile this code, do you think that is going to get compiled successfully or not? Do we get compilation error or the code gets executed successfully? Come on, think better and answer me. What is output for this case study 3? Everyone. People who have said error, why do we get error? Madhu says successful. What Jyoti says, no, we are talking just about the compilation, not about the execution, because during the execution definitely we will get error. Why we will get error during the execution? Why do we get error? Because there is no main method, right? That's why we get error. Till compilation point of view, whether it will get compiled successfully or not, we will understand that. Okay, before even proceeding with this, now you try to tell me one thing. See, I am using the case 3. Look at this case 3. Here I am using what? I am using a method. This is not a constructor. First point needs to be observed is this is nothing but a Java method, right? A straightforward answer. This is nothing but a Java method. It is not a constructor. First thing, first observation, Java method. Okay, inside the Java method, I am using a constructor call. This call is applicable only to Java constructor. Second point needs to be observed. What is it? This call is applicable only to what? Super call is super call or this call? Super call or this call is applicable only for Java constructors, not for Java methods. Okay, I am using the super call inside a Java method. So this is a super call that is being used inside the Java method. It is not applicable. It is a violation. If you ever had to use a super call or this call, they should be used only in Java constructor, not anywhere in Java classes or in anywhere in Java methods. Making sense? So if this is the rule, do you think that it will get compiled successfully? No, it will get error, right? Okay, let me reproduce this program and see the output. What is the output that we get really? Okay, public void method 1. This is case 3. Okay, inside this method I am doing a constructor call, super call. It's nothing but what? Constructor call. Constructor call. CONSTRU constructor call. Okay, System.out.println statement. Inside this println statement, a simple call. Okay. If I compile and execute, if I compile this, not about the execution, if I just compile this, the call to the super must be the first statement inside the constructor. So this is the Java method. Okay, and we are getting what? Call to the super must be the first statement in the constructor. It means it can be used only in the constructor, not in the Java method. That's what it says indirectly. Should be inside first statement in the constructor. Making sense, everyone? The error. Case 3. Yes, no? Case 3. Getting this, everyone? Madhu? Yeah. Okay. Now you tell me one thing. Now you need to understand the difference between, what? You need to understand the difference between the super call and the super or this keyword. Okay. There is a lot of difference between super versus super and this constructor call versus this keyword. Okay, we will see a lot of information about this keyword in the future classes. For now, I will give you this simple briefing about this keyword and the super keyword versus super call constructor versus this call constructor. Okay, so this or super, they are usually called as, we usually call them as Java keywords. It will come under Java keywords. Okay, the Java keyword, either this or super. This is a Java keyword followed by a constructor call, or super is a Java keyword followed by a constructor call. Okay, we usually call them as constructor calls. Okay, there are certain places where we are supposed to use, where you are supposed to use this or super keywords, and there is only one place in Java where you can use this constructor call or the super constructor call. Only in constructors you can use this. Please be informed that please be informed that you can use this these calls, these constructor calls only in the Java constructors. Okay. If you are using it anywhere apart from the Java constructors, you get error. What kind of error you will get? This is how the error looks like. So this is the straightforward example that we have just come across. Okay. Now I will give you the small program and we will understand what is the output from this small program. Okay. So I have a class A. Inside this class A, I am going to take what? I will take two classes. Class B I have, and I have class A. Okay, this class A is extending class B. Class A is extending to class B. Okay, when I do extends, when I just give extends keyword, the usage of extends keyword is like it is making a relationship. What kind of relationship it is going to make? Parent-child relationship. Okay, it means A has all privileges. The class A has all privileges to get the properties and behaviors of class B. It has all rights to use the properties and behaviors of the class B. Okay, inheritance relationship it is making. Okay, so inside the class B, let me take a small variable like integer string name equal to Jyoti. Okay, I have taken a variable name is Jyoti inside the class A. Okay, so I am just using the same variable name, same data type inside the class A. Same variables, Jyoti and Jyoti, same variables. Okay, and inside this I am simply creating a main method, public static void main. Okay, string array house. So I have taken a main method. Okay, now you can just try to give me the answer for this particular question. Think better and give me the answer. What will I get if I try to access System.out.println? Okay. If you want to access name, okay, so here let me take here Jyoti. Yes, I am taking here Jyoti and I am taking. The reason why I am taking these names are there are two persons with the same names but with the different surnames. Okay, so Jyoti yes and Jyoti. Okay, if I ever try to access the name, okay, so what will be the output now? I mean, which will be printed in the console, Jyoti N or Jyoti S? I hope you got my question. What is the answer? So let me reiterate once again. I have a main method. I have two variables. One variable is placed inside class A and the second variable is placed inside class B. Okay. In the main method is already in the class A itself. If I try to access name, okay, what will be displayed in the console? Either it is going to be Jyoti N or it is going to be Jyoti S. Error. What about others? Chaitanya says name. Okay, Chaitanya. Okay, of course you are saying its name. Name is a variable, but something has to be displayed in the console. No, name is storing a variable of data. Jyoti N is there, also Jyoti S is there. Which will be displayed in the console? That is my question. Jyoti S says Jyoti S. What about others? Krishna Prasad says error. Error. I think okay. Madhu says don't print any name. Okay, let me run this. Okay, so you made Java C space a.java. Non-static variable cannot be referenced from a static context. I forgot to obj equal to new a. I forgot to create object. No worries. Or else either I can create object or else I can use this as static. Static string name. Okay, let me create an object and ask you. A obj object is being created for class A. New a. Okay, obj dot name. Okay, so same question. I forgot to create object. Same question, and I will stick to your answers. Okay, you are sticking to your answers, right? So let me run this code and we will see what is output. Do you need to change your answers? Do you have anything to change your answers? Okay, let me run this. Java C space a dot Java. Compilation is successful. Okay, Java space A. Okay, Jyotiyan is being displayed in the console. Jyotiyan. Okay, this is being displayed in the console. I will tell you why this is being displayed in the console. Before that, let us do some tracing. Okay, people who have said error, let us do some tracing, and there will not be any ambiguity issues here. I will tell you why there will not be any ambiguity issues. Okay, this is our code. The code is very crystal clear. Okay, so the main thread will get created. Main thread will get access to the main method, and the object is being created for the class A. Okay, object is being created for what? Class A. So a memory gets allocated because of the new keyword. Okay, and the reference variable is going to be obj itself. Okay, it is going to do what? All the memory will get allocated for all the instance variables. Okay, and if you see here, there are two instant variables. I mean, with the same variable name. You look at the variable name. Here also its name. Here also its name. Okay, and again here we are trying to display what? Here we are trying to display. We are trying to access the name itself. When you're trying to access the name itself, first it will look inside the current class. Inside the current class, there is already an identifier. There is already a name which is storing a value Jyotiyan. So Jyotiyan will display in the console. It will give priority to the current class variable name. Okay, unless and until there is no variable name by the name of name itself, then it will look into the parent class or the super class. There is already a variable that is declared with the name itself. So Jyotiyan will be displayed. Okay, this is also same like System.out.println obj.name. Okay, when I don't use Jyotiyan here, now the output is going to be Jyotiyas. If I run this code, output is going to be Jyotiyas. Why Jyotiyas? It is trying to access the variable with the name itself. Okay, the name variable is not found in the current class, so it will look inside the parent class. Inside the parent class, there is already a variable that is declared with the name itself. Okay, if I remove this also, now I will get error. Why? Because there is no variable name with the name itself. If I run this code, I will get error. So now it cannot find the symbol. Okay, the conclusion is very simple. The conclusion is what? It will always try to identify the name variable or any variable in the current class. If it is not available in the current class, the control will be transferred to the parent class or the super class. Okay, this is same as, let me try this. Okay, now let me take another method here. Now you see, now you will get an idea. I'm adding another method here. Void method 1. Okay, System.out.println. Now you think and answer me. Think better and answer me. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, here I am trying to print name. Okay, now obj dot method 1. Okay, now you tell me what will be the output that I will get because of this. program. Okay. So this is the program. Think and tell me. Take pen and paper and write and tell me. Don't tell me just like that. Think better and tell me. Everyone. You need to focus only on two things. Whenever I give you the program, you should only focus on the main method. Okay, in the main method there are only two instructions, instruction 1 and instruction 2. Instructor 1 says object creation, and with the help of this reference variable we are calling method 1. Okay, so the control will be transferred to the method 1. Yes or no? Method 1. Inside the method 1 we are trying to access the variable name itself. Okay, if I do so, whether the answer is Jyotian or Jyotias, only one answer. Jyotian is the answer. Okay, you are getting this now. Why Jyotian is the answer? Because compilation is successful. Right. Jyotian. Okay. Now see, this is same as. Now you tell me the answer. This taught me. Okay, both are going to give the same answer. Why both are going to give the same answer? When you use this keyword in Java inside a method, whenever this keyword is used, it is same like access the variable. We are just giving the instructions to the system. We are doing what? We are giving instructions to the controller, to the main thread. Instructions to the main thread, stating that access the variable name of the current class. Okay, for us, see, if you look at this, we might be thinking, right, okay, there are two variables. There is a variable here and there is another variable here. Both are having this, both are identified with the same name. Okay, and we are specifying the main thread, stating that whenever this keyword is used, it has to give priority to the current class variable name. Okay, so the output is going to be what? Jyotian itself. But my intention is I want to give priority to the superclass variable name. I want to print Jyotias instead of Jyotian. I do not want to print Jyotian, but I want to print Jyotias. In that case, I can use super keyword. Okay, instead of this keyword, if I use super keyword, then the control will identify the name variable in the superclass. So Jyotias will be printed in the console. Having said all this, now can you tell me, there are three println statements here. What will be the output? What will be the output? Same problem. I have just done a little modification here. I have added two more additional println statement, and the additional println statement as this keyword and super keyword. Okay, having said all this, can you guess the output now? Think better and tell me. Jyotian, Jyotian, Jyotias. Correct. Do you agree with Chaitanya? Everyone? Everyone agree with Chaitanya? Right. So this call, I mean, if you let me run this. Compilation successful. See, Jyotian, Jyotian, Jyotian. So we are trying to ensure that if we are giving a connection between, between two classes by using extends keyword. Okay, so let me make this very clear with the paint, using the paint screen. New, don't save. Okay. This is our example, no? This is our example. People who haven't answered, try to focus here, will get this very, very easy. Okay, so now I have a class A. Now if you try to draw an eye level diagram, okay, there is a class A. Since class A is extending to class B, okay, there is a class B, and obviously the class B is going to extend what? Object class. So object class is mother of superclass of all the class. This is what? Object class. And this is going to be what? This is going to be class B, and this is going to be class A. Okay, and there is a relationship. parent child relationship. Class A is extending class B. So this is how it will look with the high level diagrammatical illustration. And class B is extending object class. Okay, so extends keyword. Okay, if the class is not extending any class, obviously it is going to extend object class. This is how the compiler is going to what these things will be taken care by the compiler during the compilation time. Okay, so now the object has been created for class A. So now you tell me class A has a variable called name. Okay, name, what is that name? Jyoti, yes, sorry, Jyoti N. And class B is also as a variable with the name Jyoti, yes, Jyoti N and Jyoti, yes. Okay, so the first line, the first instruction says object is being created for class A. So this is class A, and this is object, and this is what? Obj. Okay, after the object creation, we are calling what? Method 1. Okay, as soon as the object is created inside this class, okay, how many variables are there in class A? Okay, by looking at this, you can say that okay, there are two variables inside the class A because class A has access to this variable as well as this variable. Okay, how many variables are there in class B? Only one variable. So when you talk about class A, there are two variables. When you talk about class B, one variable. Okay, now if you see that we are trying to access method 1 with the obj, okay, the control will go to the method 1 that is placed inside what? Obj. So here the control comes, right? The first function is name itself. Okay, so whenever you're trying to print the name, the priority will be given to the current class, just a name. Current class variable Jyoti will be displayed in the console. Jyoti, right? Second, again you are trying to second call is what? This dot name. Again, this means the current class. Look at the variable in the current class. We are specifying the what we are giving the instructions to the main method to look at the variable in the current class. Jyoti again. Okay, third time we are being more specific. We are saying that there is a name, there is a variable called as name, and look for that variable in the super class. Okay, super. What is super class of class A? B is the super class. So the name variable will be looked in the class B, and the output will be displayed on the console. So Jyoti, yes. Jyoti, yes. Making sense, everyone? Who has not answered? Yeah. Okay. So now the reason behind this explanation is that so this is the difference between these two. And when you want to use this or super, okay, you can use it anywhere. But when you want to use this call or the super constructor call, you can use this call or the super constructor call only where? Only in the constructors, Java constructors. Okay, the difference is very clear. First is, okay, let me write the difference between this and super. First point to be noted. Okay, they are called as keywords to, okay, I can say that, which can be used to refer to the current class or superclass instance variables or sometimes methods. Okay, variables or methods, both. Even in methods also you can perform this or super. Okay, we will discuss about this a lot in the future classes. In context with the this constructor call or the super constructor call, I'm giving you some idea. Both are completely different. Okay, and again we can use these keywords anywhere in Java class. except there is a condition where you are not supposed to use this or super static area. Okay, what does it really means? When the method is static, okay, let us assume the same example. Let us try to understand this. If the method is static, this is the non-static method because static keyword is not there. Okay, if I declare this method as a static method, now this has become a static method. Okay, so when the method is static, you are not supposed to use these two keywords. What are they? This or super. If I run this, I will get an error. What it says? Non-static variable name cannot be referenced from a static context. This is one condition that you need to remember. When the method is non-static, you can use. When the method is static, you cannot use. If you use, this is what you get. Okay, it's an example. Then the third point says this keyword or super keyword we can use any number of times. There are no restrictions in the number of times that you are going to use, and we can use anywhere in the method or anywhere in the variable. It is not like it has to be used in the first line or the second. There are no such restrictions for these two keywords. There are no such restrictions. If you look at this example, especially this example, see, so it is not in the first line. It is somewhere in the System.out.println. So there is no what we call it as there is no such thing like similar to the constructor, this constructor call or the super constructor call. So those constructor call needs to be used in the first line. There is no such restrictions for these two keywords. Okay, so these are the three things about this or super call. Next, the three things that we need to understand about this constructor call and the super constructor call. Okay, same explanation, but it is little opposite. These are the keywords which can be used to. These are the constructor calls. Constructor calls to call superclass constructor or the parent class constructor. First line. Second line is we can look at this. We can use these keywords in anywhere in the Java class except static area, but we can use only in the Java constructors. Okay, the third line is we can use only one at a time, but not both simultaneously. So this is the complete difference between the constructor calls of this or super and the keywords of this and super. Okay, making sense? Now you understood the difference, everyone? Yes, no? Say something in the chat box. Right? So now we will try to understand a few more problems. Okay, constructor overloading. Next topic is what? Constructor overloading. Okay, now I will give you the little analogy on top of this topic, constructor overloading. Okay, see, you people are college students, most of them, and I have already described about this analogy. Okay, so after completing your higher educations, especially your +2, okay, so you did not get your results. This is just an example. You have just completed taking your +2 examinations, higher secondary examinations, and you are waiting for the results. Okay, while you are waiting for the results, you want to get placed in a good college, good engineering college. Okay, so you are approaching ABC college. You decided to approach ABC college. Okay, and ABC college says, since you are visiting ABC college for an inquiry. Okay, so they are giving you a form. Okay, they are giving you 3 forms: form 1, form 2, form 3. Okay, let us say that Jyoti is visiting ABC college after completing her higher secondary examinations. Okay, and she is inquiring about the college courses and the admission timings. Okay, so many things needs to be inquired. So is inquiring about these things. Okay, the college management has given here 3 forms. Okay, form 1 says just the information like it is asking for the information of Jyoti. Okay, a 2 information. Form 1 has what? 2 information. What are they? It will just ask for the name. So directly you can't approach the college and you cannot see the management without even declaring your name. They will ask you for your name and the location. These are the mandatory things. Okay. Name and the location. Name and the location. You need to fill this information in the form 1. Form 1. Okay. Second, form 2. Form 2 says you are saying that you are committed to join a particular, you are committed to take a particular course, example, a computer science engineering. You decided, okay, for your decision, since you have decided to take CSE engineering, okay, they are giving you form 2 and are asking you to fill in the information. What are the information that they want from you? This time, fees. Payment information, bank details, fees, or else I can say that bank details. Instead of fees, let us keep it as bank details. Okay, and your complete personal information. Okay, and the third information is an acknowledgement, a signature from you. Okay. The third thing is you have not decided to take any course, but you want information regarding the fees. Okay, so they asked you the 3 like details like name, phone number, and email address. Phone number and email address. Okay, there are 3 forms in a college. Okay, the first form says that you give 2 information, name and location, since you have come for the inquiry. The form 2 says that since you are committed to join the college and you are committed to take CSE department, so they are collecting your bank details and personal information and acknowledgement from a kind of signature. Third thing is you have come to the college, but you have now decided to take the course. Okay, the college manager is saying you just give your name and phone number and email address. We will inform you if the courses that we are looking for is the place is available vacant or not. These are the 3 forms. Now each and every form 1 is representing a constructor, form 2 is representing a constructor, and the form 3 is representing a constructor. If you want to build a class, definitely the name of the class name should be same as what ABC college, I can say. Okay, since you want a seat from a college, I am taking the name of the class as college itself. Okay, inside the college I am taking 3 constructors. Okay, each and every constructor is representing forms. Constructor 1 says name and location. Okay, so I will take a constructor which is same as the class name, and this constructor is going to accept what? 2 information 1 is what? Name, and the second information is what? Location. Name and location. Okay, and form 2 is representing another constructor, right? So this is also going to be what? College constructor. So if you ever want to collect the information in such a way that that information is going to have a specific parameters, okay, you will take separate constructor for those separate information. Okay, so second constructor is looking for bank details, personal information, and acknowledgement. Likewise, there is another constructor, third constructor, which is looking for what? Name, phone number, and email address. Okay, each and every constructor is representing a form. Name, phone number, and what? Email address. Okay, what is the question that we are just discussing? Java, constructor overloading. Okay, the answer is here. The answer is just we have developed. Okay, the answer says when you have when you have same constructor name with different parameters, then we call it as constructor overloading. The question can be like, in the interview room, you may face a question like, is constructor overloading possible in Java? Overloading possible in Java? Yes, it is possible. And what is constructor overloading? Yes, it is possible. The second question could be like, what is a constructor overloading? The answer is, when you have the same constructor name with different parameters, then we call it as what? Constructor overloading. Same example. Okay, there are three forms, each and every form. This analogy is directly converted to the Java programming language. And if you convert this analogy to a Java programming language, the college itself is a class. Okay, and the forms that the college is giving it to you, depending upon your requirements, they are representing it as what? Every constructor. So each and every constructor is unique because the first constructor is going to collect some information. What information is going to collect? Name and your location. The second constructor is going to collect what? Banking details. And the third information is going to collect what? Your name, phone number. Likewise, you can create any number of constructor depending upon the requirements. This process is called as what? In Java, this process is called as what? Constructor overloading. It is called as constructor overloading. Let me give you a small example. So I am taking a class here. If you get logged out of this meeting room, try to do the rejoin, okay? Don't assume that the classes are over. We'll take only one class for the simplicity. Okay, now you see, I have one empty constructor here. I am taking three constructor. Second constructor is integer I. System.out.println. So this constructor, I'm going to just print a line saying that in constructor. Okay, and I am taking another constructor. This is going to do what? Double. Okay, now you answer me. Super. This is now our constructor. Okay, I have taken three constructors. Don't get confused with this program. Very easy to answer. Okay, I have just said this is called as constructor overloading. Okay, the constructor name will be same as the class name. Okay, we have three constructors. One constructor, this is another constructor, and this is another constructor. Okay, so each and every constructor is has some instructions. Some instructions are placed inside these constructors. Okay, now if I try to execute this, for example, I am creating object for a obj equal to ua. Okay, so this process is called as constructor overloading. Before even giving the answer, let me try to help you with this problem. Okay, so inside this class I have, okay, this is one constructor, this is another constructor, okay, and this is another constructor. I have three constructors inside the class A. Okay, so this process is called as constructor overloading. Why this is called as constructor overloading? I have constructors with the same name. Don't you think that these constructors are having the same name? Yeah, same as the class name, but each and every constructor, if you look into it, it has different arguments. This has no arguments, and this is accepting an argument of integer type, and this is accepting an argument of double type. Different arguments. Okay, this process is called, this mechanism is called as what? Constructor overloading. Having said all this, if you want to execute this code just by creating an object, okay, can you guess the output for this problem? Can you guess the output? Let me copy and paste it here. You need to focus only in the main method, guys. Just look inside the main method and you will see only one instruction inside the main method, and a constructor call is happening. Just try to find which kind of constructor call is this. An empty constructor call. Okay, try to map this call to the exact constructor, and again inside this there is another constructor call. Try to map this, right? Okay, Madhu says integer. What about others? If you need pen and paper to solve this, I have already pasted the code in the Teams. You definitely need a pen and paper to solve this. You cannot just imagine and come to a conclusion. Others, why people are taking so much? Answer. Int const no org. Int const no org. Do you agree with Krishna Prasad and Madhu? Everyone need to think better, guys. Okay, let us run this code. We are wasting a lot of time. Java C space a dot Java space a. Int const and no arg. Who has said int constant no arg? Anyone? Any answers? Int constant no arg. Int constant no arg. Good. No, Darshini, thank you for trying, but no, there is a mistake. Let us see what is happening here. Let me take the paint screen. Okay, this is the main method. Okay, inside the main method, we are calling a constructor. What constructor we are calling here? We are calling what? A constructor. Okay, so the control will jump directly to what? The control will jump directly to the A constructor. From here, A constructor. Again, inside the A constructor, there is another constructor call, which is this 10. Whenever you see this keyword, it means replace this with the current class name A. Okay, and it is calling a constructor that is accepting integer as an argument, right? So from here the control will jump to where? Here. Okay, and here the call is what? A10. Okay, matching constructor is found. Okay, so inside this only one instruction is left to be displayed in the console. Int const will be displayed in the console. Okay, after executing this constructor, it will go back to the same place it was previously sent from. From there, the next instruction is what? No arg instruction. So that's why the output we get what? Int const first and the no arg in the next statement. Okay. After this, no more instructions needs to be displayed in the console. So the control will come back to the same place where it was previously sent, and the execution will stop. Okay. Now the second problem query is the same query. Let me do some modification here. 10.25. Okay. This 10. So now you answer this to me. Should be very quick. I did a small modification here. Good, good. No, Chaitanya says no or gain call. What about others? Do you agree with Chaitanya? Okay, let me paste this in the chat box for the better understanding. Right, make it fast. This process is called as constructor overloading, and internally there are many constructor calls that you need to identify exactly about the control flow. Just try to identify what kind of argument is this, okay, and try to do the mapping. You will get the answer. Okay, let me run this code. Java C space a dot Java. Okay, see, here we are getting what? Okay, recursive constructor invocation. Why we are getting this? We will try to understand this. Okay, you have answered it in a better way. Good, good. But we will understand this. Why it is called as a recursive constructor invocation. Okay, stop typing. I will explain it. This is very, very important. You guys are wrong actually. This is very, very important. Okay, if you have pen and paper, you might have got this, but you are not using pen and paper, I guess. Okay, now focus here. Very, very important question. Focus here. Everyone focus here. Everyone can get this. Focus here. Let me take the main method in a separate place. Okay, now focus here, guys. See, we know that we are calling what? We are calling a constructor that is accepting the double data type as an argument, right? So it will try to map the exact location. Okay, so the control will be transferred from here to the exact constructor that is accepting the double floating point value or double value. This is where the constructor is. Okay, so now you tell me the call has been transferred from here to here, right? After this, what is happening, guys? After this, the first instruction is what? Let me keep it like this. Okay, after this, the first instruction is this call. Again, from here, it is trying to identify the exact constructor that is accepting integer as an argument. This is the exact constructor, right? From here, the control is transferring to here. Exact constructor call is identified. Okay. Inside this, what we are trying to say, so integer constant will be displayed in the console. Integer constant. The output is going to be what? Integer constant. Okay. From here, it will come back to the same place where it was previously called. This place. Call has happened from here. From here, the first instruction is this 10. From here, the integer constructor call int I. Then this is going to get printed integer constant, and again it will come back here. and again it is going to print what? Integer constant. Okay. So where the recursal call is happening. Okay. By looking at it, you people are convinced that the output is going to be what? Integer const and integer const. No doubts about it. So this is what the explanation is, because by looking at this, we are pretty sure that the first call is what? This call, and after this it is going to call this. This is completely fine, no issues. The output is going to be this and this. But the problem is not with these two constructors. The problem is with this constructor call, especially this constructor call. Okay, so let me increase the font size of this constructor call. So look at this. If you say a, okay, programmatically what we have identified is, we have identified that the output is pretty fine in constant. In constant is going to display the console. That is okay, but there is a syntactical error here. The syntactical error says inside the empty constructor I am calling empty constructor again. System.out.println. Okay, the problem is with this particular first constructor. Focus here. No or. Okay. And we are pretty much sure that the control will not be transferred to the a constructor, because we are not calling a constructor. But when you look at it syntactically, inside the a constructor you are placing a this call. What does it mean? If the control is ever traveling to a constructor, it means that this call is representing to call the a constructor again. This is also called as a constructor, right? You cannot keep this call of the same constructor. In this case, the constructor is no parameters constructor, and this call is also what? No parameters. It means if you ever have to execute this code, it is like a repetition. It is just like a repetition. The moment the control comes here, okay, this is going to invoke the same constructor, okay, and again it will come here. Again this call, it is going to invoke the same constructor. Again it will come here. Again it is going to invoke the same constructor. Again it will come here, this call, because this is also equivalent to a constructor, right? It means same constructor will be invoked over and over again. Syntactically this is incorrect. Even though the control is not being transferred to this line, even though the control is not getting transferred to this constructor means the constructor that I am specifying here, control is not getting transferred to this constructor. One minute, it is missing. Even the control is not getting transferred to this constructor. Syntactically it is being incorrect. It is same like, for example, let me take a small program. Okay. It is coming in tabs. So if I have a class A, it is in caps, it is in capital letter, no worries. If I have a class A and if I have a constructor here, inside this constructor, if I keep this code, okay, system.out.println con static void main string array aux a obj equal to new a class a. If I run this code and you can you tell me what is output? This is also called as the recursive method invocation. You are going to get the same error. Recursive constructor invocation. Why we are going to get the same error? Anyhow, this is going to do the constructor call, the empty constructor call. Okay. So on top of this call, the first instruction is this keyword. This is syntactically correct, but it is going to make a recursive call. This call. So whenever it is finding this call, it will identify to call the same constructor of this type. Again, the a constructor will be called. Same constructor will be called, and again it is going to encounter this keyword. So again it has to call the same constructor. Again this keyword. This again is going to call the same constructor. Likewise, it is going to be a recursive, right? It is going to be recursive. In our previous example, the control was not transferred to this particular constructor, but syntactically it is behaving like a recursive call. That's why we got this error, recursive constructor invocation. Okay, I have already said you, when you are calling the same method over and over again, okay, there will be a stack overflow. Like that, when you call especially in the for loop, there is an infinite for loop. Infinite for loop is going to give a kind of situation like a stack overflow error. The for loop will get executed over and over again. Likewise, this constructor is going to be called over and over again. Don't you think so? This constructor is going to get called over and over. Don't you think so? Yes, no? Everyone? Let me run this. File save as a dot. Java 6 space a dot Java. The recursive constructor invocation. Why recursive constructor invocation? The same example. The problem statement will be just like this, and you will be asked to identify if we get the any kind of output in the console, or if we get any kind of any kind of errors. Okay. We look at this constructor call of empty constructor. Empty constructor will be called, and again it is encountering the first instruction, this instruction. It is also equivalent to what? A call, and a constructor will be called again. Again this is encountering this instruction, again a call. Recursively it will be called. It will be called over and over again. That's why we are getting error. So this is what case 4. Recursive constructor invocation. Making sense, everyone? Yes, no? That's why we got the same error in the previous exam. Recursive constructor invocation. If you have understood this, then you must also understand this. What is this? Here I am taking integer I. Okay. What is output now? What is output of this code? Error, recursive method invocation, right? Recursive constructor invocation, right? Error. I mean, you should be very specific with error. Yeah, error. It is error only. You should be very specific. It can't be error. You should say recursive code. You should say this recursive constructor invocation. Okay, the same example, a different way. Now Now you can tell me what is the output now. Blank, correct. Output is going to be blank because nothing is there to be displayed on the console. Java C space a dot Java, Java space a. The last question. Now think better, think better. How it can be blank, Chaitanya and Krishna Prasad. We are calling a constructor of double. Do you think is there any constructor of double type? There is a constructor. There are two constructors here. This constructor is going to accept the integer data type. This is going to accept nothing. Okay. I am calling a constructor that is accepting double, but there are no constructors placed here that is going to accept the double data type. Right? So we get error. See, it says possibly logic double cannot be converted to. We get error. Understood? Krishna Prasad. Right now, another example. I am taking 10. Now, blank. Do you agree with everyone? Okay, so let me run this code. Let me run this. Let me run this. You get recursive constructor invocation. Why you will get blank? See, I am calling the constructor that is accepting integer as an argument. Okay, the control will go here. First call is this call. This means the control will go here. Again, inside this there is recursive call. No, again I am calling this. It will call this. This will call this. This will be recursive. No, this constructor is going to be recursive. No, I have just said no. You cannot have this call with empty parameter as the constructor call. Constructor is also empty. This is also empty. This call is not empty. It's going to be recursive. That is a thumb rule. For example, this is integer call. If I am also calling an integer call here, this is going to be recursive, right? Cannot be same. Both cannot be same. Accepting the variable as well as the constructor call is also same. If both are same, that is going to be recursive method invocation. Making sense? Good Chaitanya. Now you answer me if you have understood this. Now you answer this. Now answer this to me. This is the last question before we conclude. Blank. Good. Now you are getting this. See? So 10 is the call here. Okay, your analysis is correct only. Call is here 10 we are calling. Okay. constructor is constructor 10 is called, and again we are calling what, this constructor. Do you think that is there any this constructor here? Okay, if I remove this, then obviously you might be correct, right? So you should think, right, when I am doing this call, this is a call that is going to accept, that is going to find for a constructor with no argument, right? We are getting, we don't have any constructor for this keyword, right? We're getting this. Yes, no. Everyone who's, yeah, good. You need to practice a lot. And one more thing before we conclude this call. So Darshini, you're understanding this? Darshini, these are only problem statements. No need to worry much about this. Okay, so now when I am doing it here, if I remove this, obviously the output is going to be black. Output is going to be black. Okay, and okay, tomorrow I will introduce about that copy constructor, and I want you to find the output of this following program. Tomorrow you come with the output. We are going to prepare a cheat code on top of this program. So all the questions on constructors will be covered. Because of this, we will prepare a cheat code on this program. Okay, you can take, you can wind up now.